Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Hey, in just a moment, I'm going to have Kayla, one of our students, share what God has been doing in her life and some encouraging words with you. But first, I just wanted to share a quick devotional with you that I just recently came upon. And it's talking about your life feeling out of control. Are you in a season where your life feels out of control? Or maybe and maybe your life feels out of control as a result of this, but maybe you're in a season where you don't feel God's presence in your life, or you've been praying out to God and you've been waiting and waiting for God to answer that prayer. I know I've been in a season for a long time where I've been praying and crying out to God to make me passionate for Him once again. And I'm like, seriously, God, you're not going to answer that prayer? Seems like a pretty noble prayer, right? Well, trust me, I'm not always as noble as maybe that sounds like. God is definitely still working on this mess of a man. But I wanted to share with you here today, very quickly, 3 truths that are relevant to when we're in those seasons of waiting. And the first one is this, is that waiting reveals what we worship or what we value. If we read the story in Exodus, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the story in Exodus 32, I'm going to read just verse 1. It says, when the people saw that Moses delayed in coming down from the mountain, they gathered around Aaron and said to him, come, make gods for us who will go before us, because this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we don't know what has happened to him. Now, the people have only been waiting 40 days in the desert. They're going to end up wandering around the desert for 40 years, and they were in Egypt as slaves for 400 years. And so at this point, they're getting pretty impatient and frustrated that they have to continue waiting for them to be led to the land that they were promised. And I don't know exactly what it was that they valued. I don't know if they valued having a tangible leader. Moses, it was God leading the people through Moses, but they could see Moses, and Moses went up onto a mountain and he was gone for a while. And I don't know if they valued so much having someone that would lead them. I don't know if it was comfort because they complained about being led out of Egypt just to die when they weren't really living anyway, because in Egypt they were slaves. What kind of life is that? And so I don't know what it was exactly that they valued. Maybe it was just having images that they felt like they could see and hold on to and worship. And that's why they created these images and started celebrating. All I know is that waiting does reveal what we worship. Do you need instant gratification? And so when you don't feel God's presence in your life, what do you start to value? What do you start to worship? Do you still run to God and worship Him? Or do you start looking for those good feelings in other places? I know I do sometimes. It's very difficult, especially after you've experienced God's presence in your life, the most incredible thing that you can experience. The second thing is that waiting is never wasted. It may feel like it is. It may be frustrating. As I said, I am struggling with God, seriously, I want you to make me passionate for the things that you're passionate about and passionate about you, and you're not answering that prayer. Why are you wasting this time? All I know is that God uses the waiting to prepare us for what He has for us, for the next season that He has for us. Maybe the Israelites had to wait because there were people who were going to lead the rest of the nation away from God, and He needed to weed them out before He led them into the land He had promised them, or they would have led them even further away from God. Actually, I think the case is that God was trying to prepare their hearts to be able to fight the battles they needed to fight to attain the land that God had promised them. He may have also been working with the people who were in those lands, trying to get them to repent and get them to have a soft heart so that Israel didn't even have to battle them, but they would allow Israel to pass through their nation to get to the land that God had promised them. All I know is that God does not waste the waiting. The third thing is this, is that waiting helps us focus on God's faithfulness. Right now, I have to intentionally remember. I can't take for granted the things that God has done in the past. I have to intentionally remember His faithfulness in the past, that He has led me through, that I have had seasons that I just cannot wait to get through. But with patience and perseverance, God has been faithful and led me through. and he'll do it again. Psalms 31:24 says, "Be strong and let your heart take courage, all who wait for the Lord." So be strong and take courage. All right, Kayla, take it away.
Hey guys, so I'm supposed to tell you about my life during COVID. It's been crazy. It's been super busy. I actually work in essential business. That's Weaver's Orchard right here. As you can tell, I'm about to go to work. And it picked up insanely fast. I can't even tell you. Like, when this whole COVID thing hit, I didn't really feel any affection toward it. Like, fear was never something that really hit me, which is a total blessing. But when I was working at the orchard and, I'm on the phone with these elderly people and I hear, this in their voice, this fear of I can't make contact in the store. They're explaining to me how I just need eggs and I just need my milk. Can you bring it out to my car? And we offer curbside pickup. So they're just explaining how much of a blessing this is and how they're really thankful. And they're just going on. And I actually was on the phone with this one woman for the longest time. And I'm telling her, I'm like, it's going to be okay. I said, you have to have faith that God's going to take care of you. And it started up an entire conversation about the Lord. And it was so cool to experience, just to have that conversation with those older people and just to give them that faith. And, by the end of the call, she was like, I am just so blessed by you. She was telling me, she was like, that you have that confidence. She was like, I feel that I can have that confidence now. And it was just such an overwhelming blessing that right now in this time, us as young generation, we're not as susceptible to this as the older generation, or or the disabled, or the ones, just, we're not susceptible. And so we have this opportunity to reach out to those in fear and give them a greater love, a greater purpose, that they can find trust again. And I've been using this opportunity to its fullest advantage. I've had multiple conversations now, and it is such, not an excuse, but I know it's sometimes hard as youth to start up those hard conversations, but we literally get opportunities every day, because chances are you're talking about COVID every day and somebody's scared about it. And we have that opportunity to say, hey, I'm not scared because of Jesus. And they're like, I want that too. And so I've been using this opportunity greatly just to share that word. And I would encourage you guys to take this opportunity, take it to its fullest advantage. Jesus put us in this time for a reason. He wanted us to slow down. He wanted us to think about everything that's gone on in this world so far. And we need to use that. We need to move forward with that. And I believe that's what God's calling me to do, to start those hard conversations, to give people faith again. And I don't know what he's calling you to do, but I'm sure it's something great. And I just seek him and seek his word and move forwardly in this time, that look at it as a blessing, not a pandemic, but a blessing of time, a blessing of new opportunity, and a blessing of bigger faith.
Great, Kayla. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's awesome to hear from you. Guys, I am so excited to see you hopefully soon. I pray that you're blessed, and I miss you all. See you later.